Hello everybody and welcome to Love It or Hate It, the channel where we talk about all the things that we love and all the things that we hate.
What's up, bitches?
And today, I'm having PTSD.
Nightmare, 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 nightmare.
A couple videos ago, we took a look at War of the Worlds with Ice Cube, and it made me want to swan dive off a bridge. So today, I figured, why not try and see if I'll do it? And while looking for reasons to end it all, I found this.
1196 on that possible hit and run SUV.
And I said, oh yeah, that's what I came here for. Mercy is starring Chris, Be Still While I Read the Script, Pratt, and Rebecca. I definitely fired my agent after filming this Ferguson. And this movie is yet another screenlife movie, and it's just too soon. Released in 2026, Mercy had a budget of $12.5 million, and it doubled its gross in the opening weekend, which I guess would make it a moderately successful movie, with some critics definitely hating on it, and a lot of moviegoers saying that they loved this. There was definitely a difference of opinion. But were the critics right? Is this actually a bad movie, or is it actually good like the moviegoers said? Well, we're here to ask, do we love it? Do we hate it, or somewhere in between? Let's get into it. This movie starts off with our main character, Detective Raven, waking up strapped to a chair, greeted by an AI woman who says,
"This is the Mercy Capital Court. I'm Judge Maddox. I will preside over your trial today."
This is the Mercy Court, an automated courtroom with an AI judge. You have an hour and a half to plead your case to our AI overlords, and if your guilty percentage hits above a certain threshold, you're guilty.
Yeah, gods will see that you pay for your sins.
But fear not. In the interest of fairness, our lords and saviors made sure that we have all the evidence from the crime that just happened. Don't have a degree in criminology? Well, kind of fuck then. But makes the process of you getting wrongfully murdered so much faster. Upon waking up and hearing the unfortunate news of his wife's murder, Chris Raven questions the validity of this court. But fear not, Christopher. Our AI saviors made sure that you, yes you, have all of the evidence. He sees the aftermath of the murder. Clearly, this man is confused and somewhat shocked. Then, we're shown a newsreel telling us that this man spearheaded this change in our courtroom, and yet has no idea how this works.
Hey, bro, come on now, dawg.
We learn that he arrested a man named David Webb, who's homeless and also looks very confused. David is the first man up for trial in Mercy Court. He obviously loses, setting off a very confusing chain of events for the rest of the film. But we're not there yet, so calm down and relax. In order to get a Mercy trial, you need to have at least 80% guilty likelihood. Chris has a whopping 97.5. Now with this, you'd think it's open and shut, right? You'd assume that there must have been somebody literally standing there watching, actively calling the police, all while he's screaming, "I'm murdering my wife." I probably shouldn't be yelling that too loud. But as you will see, in this universe, everyone is fucking stupid, especially the people investigating the crimes. According to this, the government is actively doxing people and letting someone who, by your own admission, has an 80% likelihood of being guilty of a crime bad enough for the death penalty to see everybody's information. Mercy gives everybody 90 minutes to prove their innocence. If not, too bad. You're taking a long sleep, you filthy criminal. The chair will give off a fatal sonic pulse if you can't prove your own innocence. Even though, if you're committing a crime, chances are you're probably not a lawyer.
Go grab a juice box, have a nap, go on.
But fear not, you only need to get this down to a 92% threshold to be freed from this, which also makes no sense, because if you need 80% to get a Mercy trial, what if you come in with like an 85% likeliness of being guilty? Did y'all even proofread your script? No, I don't think they did. Chris says he's not a murderer, and he's on their side. But then we get a video of Mr. Detective being pretty violent.
Why don't you just be a grown-up?
Do not do that.
We see on camera that he spent 26 minutes inside the house before leaving. A little while later, his daughter finds his wife dead. We hear a scream, and then we get some more information.
It chipped a vertebra in her spine in addition to piercing her liver.
Yeesh, that sounds rough. It sounds pretty painful. I bet she would have screamed pretty loudly when that happened. So because Chris is right-handed, beat up a doorbell camera, and is a pretty severe alcoholic, he's a prime suspect. Nope, no other leads? No. AI Jesus says,
I have learned one constant in this court, and that is that everyone lies.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
That doesn't seem fundamentally flawed or anything. He gets a free call, so they call a sponsor, Rob, played by Chris Sullivan. A lot of Chris's in here, and he actually does pretty good. Rob tells Chris, should have called me if you were thinking about drinking. And then the call gets disconnected because they stop talking about Chris's sobriety. Then we find out a little bit more about Chris. He had a partner who died while they were on duty. And don't worry, I will cover all of that stupid shit. I think the worst part is we don't even really find this out from Chris. It's told to us by the judge. And to be real with you, this is pretty fucking lame. Because at least if we heard it from him, we'd probably feel like a little bit worse for him. But when we're told this from a third party in such like a matter-of-fact way, it just feels wrong. Chris is really tearing his family apart and is getting a divorce. His daughter has some social medias hidden away from her parents, and we see a pretty shady looking guy who looks and sounds like he's definitely done some awful things to family pets. She hears a noise and says, I think my dad's home, and ends the video. Then we snap back to real time and she calls Chris before her grandfather snatches the phone. So far, Chris is less than thrilled for something that he wanted us to adopt. All of this is your fault. 1 hour left. Sweet. AI Jesus says that Chris's judgment is being clouded by his emotions. Then we got put on the line with the Officer Diallo, and she's working the scene of the... Wait a minute. You mean to tell me you took this man, put him on trial for murder, and you haven't even completely swept the crime scene? This investigation is still ongoing? I don't know what episode of Law & Order taught them that this is the way a crime scene works, but it's not, and I can guarantee you it's not. You don't even have all the facts, and yet you're putting people on death row? My God, this entire police department must be so broke from the amount of lawsuits that they must be tied up in. Officer Diallo reluctantly sweeps the crime scene, and Raven says,
What about her work phone?
you're all terrible at your jobs and you're all fucking fired. They find the phone and realize, oh shit, she cheated on Chris. So Chris says, get that guy, and they all rush to this restaurant on, what the hell is this? This flying RoboCop thing person makes contact with the suspect, and there's this big chase. They catch him after beating the shit out of him, and he spills the beans, kinda. He says, I got her the burner phone, and they take him in for resisting arrest because you guys chased him, accusing him of a murder that he didn't commit. Before he goes in though, he says,
Just needed somebody to talk to. Somebody to listen to her about your daughter, about all that crap at work.
remember that last part about her job? It's important. 53 minutes left, and a new probability of 98%. Apparently the highest it can go. We get a video of him relapsing, and I'm really trying to understand why this is relevant. Then we finally learn what happened to his partner. You see, Chris is not great at being a cop and making decisions. One day, they pull this guy over. His partner gets out, gets scared by a gun, and then this absolute fucking genius steps behind the suspect's car before they shift it into reverse and fucking gun it. I'm not saying leave him to die or anything, but like, brother, I'm sure in training they said something about don't listen to your stupid ass partner who says, I don't need an ambulance when they clearly need a fucking ambulance. And don't chase down the suspect while your partner is dying right next to you. But instead, you left this guy to die. But what makes me the most mad about this is the fact that you're not even mad that your partner died. You're mad that you didn't shoot the guy that you were chasing.
Kept getting on top of me.
Your former partner's death?
No. What I should have done about it.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
That's what keeps you up at night? That's the thing that makes you act like this?
Screwing it up like you always do. Jesus, Dad!
I'm really pulling for the mercy court to just get rid of you right now. I guess the guy was found not guilty. So Chris decides that he's actively going to get this mercy thing put in place so that everybody can be wrongfully fucking convicted. Really backfired, didn't it? We see the whole video from the day his wife was murdered, and inside the house, you can clearly hear the sound of Chris smashing a vase. And then you hear what I can only describe as a grunt. Not like a stop stabbing me, or put down the knife, just glass breaking, and then the video ends. How is this trial still fucking happening right now? Chris says he doesn't remember after the fight, and then admits to maybe killing her? What? And then the AI judge says that if he admits guilt, he's going to be locked in there until the timer goes down. And if he doesn't remember anything, then an admission of guilt is beyond his capacity. I'm so confused. What is the point of this? After giving Chris a pep talk, they move on. Chris has an epiphany. He says he wants to see everybody connected to Nicole. He separates everybody into groups. One side are friends, the other side are coworkers. He's thinking, and then says, call the guy my wife cheated on me with. Maddox calls the jail, but they won't put him on because he's, quote, getting fingerprinted. But then when Maddox says that she's the one telling him to do it, they cut to him in a jail cell, definitely not getting fingerprinted. Raven questions the guy further, and the guy says,
you know, Snoop been looking into her co-workers because that stuff went missing.
So upon finding this out, he starts looking into all her coworkers. He asks the judge where her coworkers are now, and the judge says, at work, dummy. They haven't been around your house since Sunday. Chris says, that's right, we had the barbecue. He starts looking into who was there that day, and after looking into what his wife was finding, he lands on 2 people who knew about this and were in contact with her. One is a really sketchy looking guy. The other is Rob. He calls Rob for info. Rob says he was the only one that was sober enough to drive, so he drove everyone home. Everyone else went in an Uber. Chris, still trying to figure this out, on a whim says, let me look at my daughter's Insta again. Then we see it. We go through that one video where she heard the noise, and then we find a second video of her saying,
I mean, it's a freaking ghost hunt, or I'm ripped off my tits. Call Zach Baggins, guys.
That's a choice of words for you to have a 16-year-old say. So they investigate further and see that there's a video of this man at work at the time this noise went down. So he calls Britt, who must have had the world's fastest brainwashing because she's completely different now. After calming her down, Chris has her explain the noise that she heard. She said she heard the initial noise and then a second one. They look in the video and then they see it. There's a man in the basement the night before the murder happened. You can clearly see a hand on the fucking doorknob. So case closed, right? Nope.
Why isn't my guilt dropped?
What appears to be a man in your basement could simply be a shadow.
Bitch, what?
But it's not a shadow. That's a whole ass human hand in this video. But you're not, because I guess Maddox is on his side now. Whatever. She tells him that he's not looking at the actual investigation. So they do that, and they realize that someone is stealing this chemical, and Nicole found out who it is. But first, we watch this video of these cops absolutely fucking destroying these people's tents for no reason. So they start looking into Robin, that sketchy dude, and find a video of a sketch guy saying,
Make things right. Just give me a few days. It will not be a problem.
It is complicated. My job is...
So they decide this must be the guy. So they call Rob. The sketchy guy gets on the phone. Hey, let me tell you, this guy looks like he's definitely smoked meth more than a couple of times. They say that they need to speak to Rob, but really it's a ploy to stall time for the cops to get there. All right, this is where things start getting out of hand. They have a bird's eye view of this guy that's looking for Rob, but Rob is nowhere to be found. Earlier in the movie, they were skimming through possible camera angles for a different view of what happened. But oop, what a coincidence. His neighbor has the only good shot of Chris's backyard, and guess what? His internet was out. So they couldn't really see it until just now. When they're looking through this footage, this judge just like skips through the video really fast. And Chris says, bitch, slow the fuck down. He notices that the camera was activated through motion detection at 10:08 in the morning. And you can clearly see that the bushes move. But the camera wasn't activated again until 11:23. They can't get any traffic footage up because the internet was out in that area earlier that morning. Sketch comes back on the phone and he says that he can't find Rob. And then Chris says,
You stole product and you murdered Nick.
to which Sketch replies,
I was just trying to help him. I owed him one.
Owed? Who?
Oh! Rob, okay? I owed Rob.
What a twist!
and then he says he took off in one of the trucks. He also reveals that he took a sick day yesterday and they figured that Rob was sick again and just gonna go home. He also reveals that he was the one who drove everybody home from the barbecue that day and not Rob. The last time this guy saw Rob was Sunday. He said he wanted to talk to Chris's wife the way that he talked to him and let her know that everything was just gonna be okay. Are you confused? Yeah, I am too. And it's just gonna get even more confusing. They all used their adult brains and they figured out it was Rob who did it. So they track the truck that he was driving and head to the address. But when they get there, they don't find him because he took the tracker off the truck, and they find his workshop in the garage. He's making bombs, and he's made a bomb so big in the 18-wheeler that he's driving that he's gonna try and blow up everything. Not only that, but he's got Chris's daughter. Why? Because David Webb, the guy that Chris put on mercy trial a couple of years ago, was his brother. So Rob planned all of this out for 2 fucking years just to get back at Chris. Thankfully, Chris is found innocent. But he doesn't want to get out of the chair because he needs to be able to see what's happening. And just really, there's nothing else you could possibly be doing right now other than sitting in that fucking chair. Especially because if he stays in that chair and the timer goes to 0, he's going to be executed anyway. And words cannot describe how fucking infuriatingly confused I am by all of this. Why would you design the chair this way? What was the benefit of that? Who made this? AI Jesus starts losing her grip on reality because humans have the power of, quote, gut instinct. And apparently she just cannot handle that. 10 minutes until this innocent man is just executed for a crime he was proven to have not committed, by the way. The chase is on, and this fucking maniac in the 18-wheeler full of explosives is rolling down the street at 60 miles an hour. And not one person is trying to stop him until this other fucking maniac gets on scene. Instead of some old-fashioned spike strips or some stock sticks, they say that they just gotta blow this fucking truck filled with explosives and this innocent 16-year-old up because it's just too much to stop. Everything is happening so fast right now, and none of it is making any sense. Everyone in this movie has the decision-making skills of a fucking piece of paper. If I was a citizen in the city, I would never leave my house because with police officers like this, who needs fucking criminals? But these idiots can't even get that right. And the RC car that is supposed to explode doesn't explode, so the truck is still going. So this bitch, riding in whatever the fuck this is, decides that she's gonna show off her lack of aim and misses every shot that she takes at this guy. He crashes into the Mercy building, and none of the explosives go off. Chris gets out of the chair, finally, and starts going down the hall. Oh god, no.
The memories.
Chris gets down to the main entrance and tries to get the remote for the explosive out of Rob's hands. Rob gives him the "you people" promo about why he's doing this, and then Judge Maddox comes on the screen to give him a chance to prove his brother's innocence. Rob reveals that he gave his brother a burner phone to contact him if he needed anything. He called him specifically at 10 the night of this other murder that happened 2 years ago, so he couldn't have killed the lady he was accused of killing that got him put in Mercy Court in the first place. While Rob's yelling, Britt bites his arm, causing him to let go. So Britt goes to safety and Chris fights with Rob. He points a gun at him and fights his impulse to shoot Rob. While Rob's in custody, he says, "I spoke to some lady at the precinct and told her to check his call history, but she never did." We get some video of Diallo going into the evidence room and taking the burner phone out of the evidence locker and hiding it. Chris says,
He buried the phone.
and at this point, I'm willing to do whatever it takes for this to be over. Lay it on me, bud. Why'd you do it?
We need mercy, Chris. We need these scumbags scared. Look at what it's done for us.
What, are you retarded?
Oh, you mean the same court that got an innocent person killed and almost got another detective executed. You need that. Let's face it, you're so consumed and worried about mercy being a thing that you were willing to have other people murdered.
Well, maybe it is stupid, but it's also dumb.
It ends with Chris holding his daughter saying,
We all make mistakes, and we learn.
that's it. No lessons about human nature. Nothing about how you probably sent hundreds of people to die over the past couple of years because of your inability to research. Nothing about how the cops should be all fired. Just a vague, uninteresting quote.
Well, that sucks.
This movie has a lot to say about AI, how dangerous it can be, and how without the human element of intuition, facts just aren't enough to come to a final conclusion. It's really unfortunate that the execution is so fucking poor, because this really is an interesting concept and a twist on the topic. But I mean, you kind of break your own rules that you establish in this world. You need at least an 80% likelihood of being guilty to be sent to mercy court, but you need 92% to be found not guilty, right? So then what happens if you have anything in between 80 and 92%?
This doesn't make any sense.
Not only that, but you aren't even done with the investigation when you put this innocent, albeit equally as guilty of being dumb, man on trial. There's reasons why you have to go through so much red tape in order to find somebody guilty and put them to death. And this is one of the main reasons, to have a chance to find you innocent, or at least innocent enough to not kill you. But the most egregious thing about this is that every single character is fucking dumb. Like, infuriatingly fucking dumb. Take Chris, for example. This man fought so hard for this mercy thing, and he doesn't even know how it works. Seriously, he doesn't know anything about this, and he pushed for it. It's a total restructuring of our legal system. You'd think he'd put in the smallest amount of research. He's just an all-around shitty person with, like, no redeemable qualities. Think about it. He's a raging alcoholic, but the reason why he's a raging alcoholic isn't because his partner died, but it's because he didn't shoot the guy who didn't even kill his partner. This guy was the passenger in the van when his partner was fucking sandwiched. And to be real with you, it's his own partner's dumbass fault for going behind the car. Why would you walk behind a car that you just stopped after they shot a gun off in the air? The cops in this movie are also very dangerously brain dead. My God, dude. Not only are they incapable of searching a car and finding a cell phone, but you mean to tell me that instead of using anything else to stop this truck full of explosives, you decide, you know what? Fuck it. Just explode it. Fuck the teenager in the passenger seat. It's just really fucked up to think that these people are supposed to be the ones who protect everybody. But there is some cool things about this movie. Like I said, this had potential. Honestly, I was kind of into it at first. The idea of having a whole courtroom being run by AI is terrifying to think about. And if they didn't stick with this stupid fucking screenlife shit, then I would have had a better time watching it for sure. Chris Pratt is also surprisingly good in this movie. A lot better than Ice Cube, at least. He gives it all for this role. And as much as he's a hit and miss character and not my favorite all-around person, he actually fit really well. It's too bad the writing is just all over the place, because I would be really interested in seeing how this would have played out with some better story development. I would much rather watch this than watch War of the Worlds any day, even if that bar is set underground at this point. I gotta give this movie a 4 out of 10, but those are my thoughts. What are yours? What do you want to see me cover? Did I get something right? Did I get it wrong? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It's been a blast. I got some therapy I need to go to. I bid y'all adieu, and bye, motherfuckers.